God will sometimes use your enemies as the biggest asset to your spiritual growth. See, sometimes people will literally provoke you into purpose. And let me explain what I mean by that. In 1 Samuel chapter 1, we see the husband Elkanah. He has two wives, Hannah and Peninnah. Now, Peninnah had children. Hannah had none. And that being one of Hannah's biggest insecurities, because at that time in life, children were wealth, children were like gold, children were of status. And every single year they went up to Shiloh to sacrifice. Peninnah would harass Hannah that she had no children, using her biggest insecurities against her. Peninnah would harass that woman. The Bible says she tortured that woman until every year she would cry and she wouldn't eat. That was the intensity of it. And instead of Hannah reacting the way we would react, throwing a tantrum, Hannah went into the temple and she prayed. She prayed so fervently. She prayed so intensely. She didn't care about her hair. She didn't care about how she looked. And she prayed and she called upon God, and God gave her that child. And listen, that's the same thing that's happening. You know you when I start praying so intensely if they wasn't talking about any WhatsApp group. You know you wouldn't start praying so intensely if the turbulence didn't come in your life. You know you when I start praying so intensely if that person wasn't being a thorn in your flesh. You know you will not start praying so intensely if they wasn't manipulative or abusive. You know you will not start praying so intensely if these things then started going wrong, if people wasn't condescending, and if they wasn't doing all these things. You know, so sometimes God could provoke you. Your enemies will provoke you into your purpose because you started praying so intensely and you found God during that crisis. You see, in another part in the Bible, after Joseph brother sold him to slavery and he became, prominent in Egypt, when he confronted him, he said, you know what, you meant it for evil, but God meant it for good. See, if Peninnah wasn't harassing Hannah with so much intensity, then Hannah wouldn't have prayed like that, and she wouldn't have had a son named Samuel, who went on one of the greatest prophets, who would have done great things. So I'm telling you, sometimes the enemy, they literally provoke you into your purpose. Sometimes the enemy, by they talking about you and saying you'll never make it, they will get you off the couch. They will get you. Sometimes the enemy, sometimes these things happen to keep you from backsliding even. Sometimes you're so comfortable. And then somebody come or something come and it's a thorn in your flesh and they say, nah boy. And you find your love again and you go back in the prayer closet and you start calling upon God again. Sometimes these things happen to provoke you into your purpose.